Hey, I'm going to show you the fastest way to find and convert financial planners. And if you add in this one extra little detail that I learned from my friend Wally, you will maximize your referrals. Hey, I'm Scott Peckford. This is I Love Mortgage Brokering Podcast. This is one of my short 10-minute tactical episodes that I do every Friday. And this week, I want to talk about financial advisors. And so I'm going to share with you 3 value adds or unique selling propositions you can use to help you convert financial advisors. One of them has nearly 100% success rate. I'm going to share with you 2 places to find financial advisors that are really simple that anybody can use. And then I'm going to give you one tweak that you need to make if you want to actually generate the most possible number of referrals. Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast. I'm your host, Scott Peckford, and this show is brought to you by Finmo. Finmo is Canada's #1 tool for mortgage applications and searching lender rates and guidelines. And it's got some cool features. It's got Smart Docs, so as the client's filling out the application, it knows what documents your client needs. It's got Smart Submission Notes, pulls key data from that app so that it goes to your lender, and it's connected to Lender Spotlight, which is the best tool for searching 8,000 different rates and guidelines. Check them out at lendesk.com/Finmo, and let's jump into this episode. All right. So if you're interested in financial advisors, and I've been noticing more and more people talking about, hey, Scott, I want to get financial advisors. How do I get more of them? So I'm going to share with you some stuff that we have used that has worked like a hot dang. And I'm going to put a little caveat at the beginning of this, though, in that when I say financial advisor, I'm assuming somebody that also could potentially, you could switch this for somebody who sells insurance. So you're going to, depending on where you are in your market, you may have to adjust the language on this because it may or may not be licensed in it, but you'll get the idea. This stuff will all work. You just may change the words. When I say financial advisor, you might be switching that out for insurance person, or it might be both, because in our market, a lot of financial advisors also sell insurance. And so I'm going to be using that as a framework for the whole thing. All right. So when it comes to converting anyone, you actually need to understand their pain points. When you understand their pain points and you offer a solution to that pain point and you brand it and create a name around that solution, it becomes much more sticky. This is how we've taught so many people to go and find and recruit real estate agents, but it's the same principle when it comes to recruiting financial advisors. And so I'm going to share with you 3 different unique selling propositions, or I call them value adds, that you can use when you're meeting with a financial advisor to explain why they should refer to you. So the very first one is what I call pre-sold insurance leads. And so what do I mean by that? So in Canada, at least where we are, it might be different for my American listeners, but we have the option to sell creditor insurance when somebody gets a mortgage. And so they fill it out, they sign a thing, and they can get this insurance. We get paid a little bit of money, and it's okay, but honestly, if you do any research on this, creditor insurance is not usually the best product in most cases. It does have a place, and it can be the right product in certain situations. So here's what I recommend that you do is, and Denise, my COO at BRX, this is what she did. So she had the highest penetration rate of the MPP insurance and also the highest cancellation rate. So like, how come they're unhappy with her? Because not everybody cancels. So if they sign up 10 people and 3 of them stick, then they end up, they still get 3 more customers than they had. And so the way you do this is, if you're selling you need to sell the MPP insurance first. What I used to do, so when I was a broker, my initial plan would be I'm just going to refer you to say, look, this is not the best insurance. I'm going to refer you to my guy or my girl. They're going to help you get something put in place that's better. And that was okay. But you know what? As you know, not everybody's going to go meet with them. So here's what would happen. They wouldn't go meet with them. So they have nothing. They have no insurance at all. And they also didn't feel like there was any urgency to getting the meeting, because it's kind of like, I'll do it eventually. And it was only when I had a client that had a massive problem with this that I was like, oh my gosh, I got to do this different. So what I did was I would sell them on the insurance, get them to say, hey, look, I'm going to get you this MPP. It covers you from the moment it's signed, even before the mortgage is closed. We've got insurance in place. And then I'm going to refer you to my financial advisor who can basically go and see if they can find something better. And they're going to say, great. And the other best part is the way we've got our setup anyway, is that if you get this, you got to check with your brokerage. And this is how we have it set up. But if you cancel within 60 days, you get all your money back. So, hey, look, my customer, if you want your money back, you do the meeting within 60 days, you get all your money back, but at least you got coverage from now till for the next 60 days. And what would happen is I would then get that paperwork to my financial advisor, and the chances of them meeting with the financial advisor go way up. That's like 80%. As I said, it's pre-sold. So if I'm talking to a financial advisor, insurance person, I'm going to say, hey, do you want pre-sold insurance leads? They're going to be like, yeah, what do you mean? Oh, so I would explain them that. I'd say, look, I sell this MPP insurance. We both know it's not a great product. However, what I find is that I tell them all I'm going to refer them to somebody who's an expert that can compare this to see if it's the right product or not. And then you have a chance to do a meeting, get an insurance client, an investment client, and they flipping love it. And they know the person's much more likely to show up because they are getting some kind of insurance. It's like, which one? Is it going to be the better one? Or is it going to be the not as good one? So pre-sold insurance leads is something that I have used and has worked really, really well. That's the first value add you can use. The second is what I call a financial transition plan. And so I would talk to the financial advisor, say, hey, look, another thing that we do for our clients, Mr. Financial Advisor, is what we call a financial transition plan. And that's essentially if somebody's going through a separation, if they're moving, if they're helping a child with a down payment, we're going to look at that from a debt side to make sure that we don't mess with any of their investments. And so let me tell you a quick story about that. And then I tell them the story about how one of my clients was going through a separation and that he had to come up with $80,000 to pay his ex. And he's like, so he decided he's going to pull it out of his registered investments, but he's going to trigger tax. And he had, $120,000 he was going to pull out to get his $80,000. And I looked at it and said, hold on, let's look at this. And we ended up pulling money out of a property and he paid out his ex. The investment stayed in place. Financial advisor was happy. Client's happy long term. And we were able to get him use debt to pay that out instead. So in this case, it just would have been because he was under so much stress, it would have already been done. And the financial advisor was like, oh, shoot, now what do I do? And we caught it early and we fixed it for him. So what we can do for your clients, Mr. Financial Advisor, is we do a financial transition plan where we'll look at this whole scenario and figure out where to use debt. The other thing we can do with that is a cash flow analysis, looking at, because as you know, most people need to have insurance and investments, but they don't have the monthly cash flow. So when we do a cash flow analysis, we're going to be like, oh, look, we can save them $300 a month. But you know what we're going to tell them to do is, hey, why don't you get your financial advisor to help you put that into some sort of an ongoing investment plan or insurance product so that you're protected. So there's a couple ways you can do this. So pre-sold insurance leads, financial transition plan. And then the last one is what's called a mortgage monitor. And so what this is you basically, once you partner with that financial advisor and they trust you, you say, well, the other thing we can do is we can monitor your client's mortgages and then help them with when they come up for renewal, or we see an opportunity to save them money. We're going to reach out on your behalf and we'll save them money. And so there's two ways. And one of our agents did this, Jeff Mudrick. He ended up adding quite a bit of business to his, because he decided, first or second year in the business, he was realtors. Second year after financial advisors, and he had a pretty good bump in the number of clients that he got from financial advisors. And it was through this mortgage monitor. And the way that works is, so sometimes the financial advisor is like, well, I don't want to give you all my client information. And so what he did is he had the financial advisor put the mortgage maturity date, interest rate, balance, all of that stuff into a spreadsheet, but it didn't have the name. And so that way it's like, hey, until I get to know you, I'm not sure if I'm ready to give you my client names. And so what he would do is he would run analysis on that list. And then he'd come back to the financial advisor and say, hey, look, I think I can save these 3 people money. And then the financial advisor would reach out, look like a hero to the clients. Hey, Mr. Client, I think I can save you some money. Let's chat. And then Jeff would do the mortgage. Jeff was happy. The financial advisor was happy and the client was happy. The key to any of this stuff is you have to understand their pain points. And if I understand your pain points and I come to you with solutions, especially packaged solutions that I can, present to you in a way that's, the reason I want to package them is make them memorable. Some of this stuff, I'm sure you're listening going, Scott, I do that all the time. Yeah, but if you don't package it in a way that makes it memorable, they're not going to remember. And you're not going to remember how to communicate it. So pre-sold insurance leads, financial transition plan, mortgage monitor, 3 different ways you can add value to financial advisors. Go. Great. Scott, that's awesome. But where do I find these financial advisors? Okay, there's many ways. I'm going to give you 2 really, really simple ones that anybody can do, even if you're brand spanking new. And so the first is what I call a quick question. So we've talked about this on other shows where we say you do a quick question survey to your database. Hey, quick question, hey, Bob, and this is you send to everyone that you know. And you'd say, if you're selling your house tomorrow, which realtor would you use? ? They have a very high success rate. You just change the question a little bit and you say, hey, Bob, do you have a financial advisor that you trust? ? And then what you can do with that is you can put PS. The reason I ask is I'm looking to see who's the most referred financial advisor in my network. I can share the results with you if you like. Here's the thing. Everybody reads the PS. It's like, I guarantee it. Like when I send out emails, the PS is always like, PS, I guarantee you read this. Like, yeah, I do. I always do. So you skim the email, PS, and then like, oh, I want to know the answer to that question. Oh, here's my financial advisor. Now you've got a list from your network. And then when they tell you, Bob says, hey, look, Sally's an amazing financial advisor. She's fantastic. Hey, tell me why Sally. What do you know about her? Now, when you get that intel about Sally, oh, Sally's, she's helped my family with whatever investments. My dad was able to retire early. Now when you reach out to Sally and you start dropping, hey, I was talking to Bob and Bob was saying that you helped retire his dad early and that you're really good. Like, I think that we really need to meet. Sally's going to meet with you. She's going to, I'm not going to be rude to you because I'm being rude to my client, Bob. So you're basically hijacking the relationship. So the key there is you want to make sure that you tie those relationships. So that's the first way is a quick question email. The second way to do it is just quick question in person. You actually can just ask people, your kid's soccer game. You're at the arena. You're sitting there talking to people. You're watching football. Hey, just question for you. Do you have a financial advisor that you trust? you could add, hey, do or the other way you could ask it is like, hey, if you had $100,000 to invest, who would you trust to handle it for you? Right? You can put a dollar amount on it if you want. You don't have to. And they're going to say, oh, this person, or I don't have someone. Oh, okay, cool. I'm looking for, the best people in my network. And when I find them, I'll let you know. Oh, awesome. Now I have a way to loop back to them. So that's just two easy ways. There's many other places you can find financial advisors. So we talked about the 3 ways to do unique selling propositions. We talked about 2 places to find them. I'm over 10 minutes. I know I really try to fit this all in 10 minutes. I apologize. Okay. So the last key to this, and this is something I picked up from my friend Wally that I missed. And honestly, it probably cost me a small fortune and I didn't even realize it, is that what Wally would do is he do this too. Plus he finds a whole bunch of other places that you can get financial planners from existing clients, from past clients, annual mortgage reviews, all that stuff. But he would actually, when he set up this referral partnership, so if he's sending them referrals, he's going to do a monthly or, every 2 month maximum meeting with that financial advisor and look at how many referrals we've sent you. So you do this recurring meeting with your financial advisor where you show them the business that you're sending to them. And then one of 2 things is going to happen. One, sometimes they don't even realize, right? They don't even realize that you're actually how valuable you are to their business. And so by highlighting that, they're like, oh shoot, I better help you with I better start referring you. And if they don't have referrals, you can say, hey, look, why don't we set up the mortgage monitor? I know you haven't been able to send me referrals yet. So let's say you send them some referrals, you do your meeting. They're like, you know what, sorry, I keep forgetting, because most people are selfish. They don't think about referring out. Say, hey, no problem at all. Here's what I recommend. Let's set up a mortgage monitor. And that way I can continue to help your clients and I can find opportunities for both of us. Oh, okay, cool. So now they're going to feel more obligated. So basically it's a recurring meeting, whether it's monthly or whatever kind of rhythm, but it's got to be relatively consistent. And that way you actually hold them accountable to send you referrals. If they don't refer you though, and if you continue, then you're going to have to replace them. And Wally talked about this, he said, if they don't refer, at some point I'm going to cut them off. I'm going to have that conversation and say, hey, before we end the relationship, is there anything that we can do to make this work? And it's a very respectful way to say, I'm about to fire your ass. So hopefully you found that valuable. I know I'm over 10 minutes. So 3 value adds, pre-sold insurance leads, financial transition plan, mortgage monitor, 2 places to find them. Quick question email to everybody that you know. Quick question to anybody that you talk to, other parents, people that you're connected with. And then the last part is you have to have some kind of a wealth meeting with them on an ongoing basis to ensure that you're tracking what the business going back and forth so that you get referrals. Hopefully you find that valuable. Last thing I'm going to say to you, if you're not on my email list, I send out strategies and tactics all the time. For instance, recently we said, hey, 5 ways to answer. I already work with a mortgage broker. Or another one we're doing recently coming up, 5 ways to answer. I don't have time to meet right now. So if you want that kind of tactical stuff in your inbox every single week, you can click on this podcast and get added to our list, or you can send me a message on social media. Hopefully you're following me on social media. Follow me on social media, send me a message. Hey, put me on your email list. We'll put you on the list and make sure that you get everything that we create. Thank you again for listening. I appreciate you. And as I always say, there's no problem in your mortgage business someone else hasn't already solved. Your problem is who's got the answer when I need it. Hopefully you find this podcast valuable. I will see you on the next show.